3, 2, 1 liftoff? Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. You guys, I'm here. You folks, guys is gender neutral, much like lads in Scotland. With that lass with the wonderful hair. Oh my gosh, her hair is so awesome. Good evening. Good evening. Oh my gosh, can I tell you how proud I am that I made it to today's TikTok Live? I say that because some of you may know that I did a pop-up TikTok Live earlier today. What, like 9:30 or so? Because, hey, German Maid 95, a double shot today, the both of us, huh? Here, let me. Ooh. Hopefully, I did that okay. Okay, I was just turning up the fun, as I would say, is turning up the. It's late at night for me. I'm tired. I had a very long day. But I was turning up the contrast so I could see things. So there we go. Okay, so yes, some of you may know that because I felt like it. I do things because I feel like it. All right, Robin, very snowy New Jersey. Here's a funny thing. I'm in kind of snowy Pennsylvania, and I will offer to you that I did a TikTok Live this morning, and I did a very quick, very just kind of fun, lighthearted, silly video when the snow was coming down like confectioner's sugar. It was coming down in these nice ploppy clumps. And the crazy thing is I think we actually got more snow than my family and friends up in New England. So go figure. Regardless, I am here right now, 7:01 in the evening on whatever day it is, Thursday, February 13th, Fat Tuesday. Feeling kind of thickly settled myself. Mardi Gras, all that. Tomorrow is not only Ash Wednesday, but Valentine's Day. How about this? How about you give yourself a decluttered home for Valentine's Day? You know what I would love? You say to your betrothed, your love, your person you're keen on. I would love a decluttered home. Now I wish we could just make it so you kind of blink like I Dream of Jeannie. Do 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 do. Oh, she's gonna sing the whole song. No, she's not. But you could just go like this and declutter. If it was that easy, I'd be showing you how to do that. However, what I want to share with you, please, please, please believe me when I say, I know that's the intro to a song, but I'm a little bit tired tonight, so I don't know what it is. But decluttering is not as hard as you think it is. It is not as arduous as you think it is. Okay, so Ruthie, you're in a suburb of Boston, and I only got a coating of snow when yesterday. Yesterday I was afraid for my mother. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law went over and helped her with her garage door, and we were afraid, we were fearful for it, and then it ended up being a whole bunch of nothing. All right, so Felice Brown says, my house became a disaster area in the past couple weeks. I bought an Amish chest and bookcase to declutter. Okay, so good for you for doing some decluttering. One thing I want to just note is, one thing that can be very helpful is prior to purchasing anything physical to help you declutter, is do the decluttering first. Usually the items that you think are going to help you declutter are ones that will help you store things. So if you've already made a decision about your stuff, the decision making is the decluttering. Is this, what do I want? Asking the questions and answering the questions in a way that gets you the result you want. Once you kind of hone down the quantity of stuff, that it's the right quantity and the right quality, then you may be better informed to buy something or make something or rent something, whatever, to store it. But every little bit helps. Here's a fun thing. I'm getting a mug. I made myself a new mug. I think it's going to come tomorrow, maybe for Valentine's Day. On my next TikTok Live, knock. I don't even know if I have any wood here to knock. I'll show it to you. And the mug says, every little bit helps, because it does. Okay? So every little bit helps, including me doing this TikTok Live on a snowy Tuesday evening, depending upon where you are. Okay. There we go. No space to spread out stuff from boxes and sort through them. Okay, I totally get you. Carla Holiday says, emptied furniture. Now the big pieces are getting out of the way to see the difference. Yeah. here's a couple of ways that you can, here's the process really, really quickly. It's very simple. So I don't overcomplicate anything. If anything, I try to, my brain was offering the words undercomplicate things, but yeah, sure, we'll go with undercomplicate things. Is you look at your stuff and you have a conversation with yourself. Not necessarily all the stuff. You can't look at everything at the same time. That is going to be the highway to overwhelm. I'm on the highway to overwhelm. Looking at everything is just going to get you overwhelmed and stuck. No, focus down, chunk down, look at a small thing, look at one thing and be like, what is this? Do I even know what it is? Yep. Do I want it or not? I do, because I've had that conversation. If I want it, where does it go? Now, this thing has been a number of different places, and for now, it's right here next to me. If I didn't want it, what would be a good place for it to go? Yes, mommy's erased 2 times in a day. Look at me. Yeah, I decided. Notice a decision. I like to make decisions that make me feel good, and this morning at 9:30, I thought, it'd be fun. It's like a snow day version of a TikTok Live. I'm assuming that I would run into new people who haven't met me before, and that too, I often forget. I jump right in, but let me back up for just a little bit. Hello. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Why is it called Destination Decluttered? Is because I love to travel. I'm going traveling. I have a destination I'm going to, and I'm excited to get there. When I'm excited to get someplace, when I have energy in me about what I'm doing or where I'm going, that makes what I'm doing to get there easier, simpler. And I want to share that with you, that kind of enthusiasm and can-do attitude. Make it simple, make it fun, have fun, and get it done so that you have space and time in your life and your home and in your head to do the things you want to do before you're dead. Okay. Mommy Erase says, had a snow day today. There you go. Cleaned my foyer area. Yeah, notice how things, and this is interesting. So I had a very heavy day of coaching and consultations. That's why if you look at my eyes, I'm just kind of tired. Thank God I didn't put on any mascara today, or it'd just be down below here. But the thing that I find interesting is my clients don't know each other, and they're from different states in the country, and they meet, they are on different times. But yet sometimes there are days where the same thing is kind of a through line through my clients. And today, one of the things that came through that I just want to share with you is this kind of alignment of expectations of what you want to get done and what the energy is that you have. And are those kind of in alignment or are they out of alignment? When they're out of alignment, there's going to be some friction. When things are not matching up and playing nicely, there's going to be some friction. So remind yourself, or maybe hear it for the first time, because this is the way I coach. I am a decluttering coach, but I'm a decluttering life coach. So I bring my life coaching training and certification to the decluttering. How that shows up is I remind you to treat yourself like a human with a life and not a machine. To check in with your energy. To check in with your energy in all the tanks. So for example, physically, how are you feeling? Now, right now, I can tell you 2 things about me physically feeling. Let's see. I'm feeling full because I just ate some dinner. Thank you, my darling husband, for making some dinner. I'm feeling a bit parched because I've been talking all day and listening all day. So therefore, I am drinking some water to get myself feeling better. My eyes are kind of tired physically because I've been looking at screens all day through my glasses. So I can't wait to kind of, get rid of that. But also, energy-wise, decision-making, being able to problem solve. Depending upon the energy you have, those tasks will be easier or harder. So pay attention to how you feel, and if you're feeling off, do 2 things. One is do something to make yourself feel better, okay? Do something to make yourself feel better. If you're not feeling good, do something, take an action, drink some water. Everybody, seriously, get some water now. Everybody, we could all use some more water. Do something to make you feel better, okay? Hey, Kim, longa time no see. All right, Swanee 700. I love it. Nice to see you. I hope you. I thinking you didn't get as much snow as I was thinking too. Okay, depression glass. I love this because this is one of the first collectibles that I heard about back in like the early 80s. So for those of you who don't know what depression glass is, first of all, kind of as in hindsight, I used to sell vintage and mid-century stuff, and I have a fondness for like 20th century collectibles, of which depression glass is. Depression glass is not just glass that was made through the Depression era, but it was kind of mass produced, and it comes in different colors, in different styles, and instead of having the glass cut to make a design, it was pressed glass. It was pressed glass with a design. So, Kim, I'm thinking that you're thinking that you have this depression glass, but you don't know what to do. Is it valuable anymore? Here's the interesting thing. I have been in the collecting biz long enough to see some of the trends. So when I very first saw depression glass, it was the early 80s, and I remember that my friend's mother, her aunt had passed away, and we went to clean out her apartment, and we saw some. Here's what I want to suggest to you is look online and find out what pattern it is. Sadly, I could be wrong because I don't have my finger on the pulse of what things are what people are collecting. I'll tell you about that in a minute, but what I want to suggest is try to find out the name of the pattern. Now, back in the day, I would have books on my shelf that I would literally leaf through until I could find it. You can do this because now you have the internet. So is it a certain color? Is it floral? Is it, green depression glass plate, light green depression glass plate, light green floral depression glass? Not sad depression. Thank you, May. Yeah, thank you, Megan Tate. Not depressed, but depression era. There we go. Yes, and UP Mariner Earl is saying some green glass will glow in the light. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head what that is. I want to say like Vaseline glass, but that's totally just out of my head. But I don't know if it's valuable. Notice that the things that people value change with time. At a certain point, depression glass was kind of ubiquitous back in the Depression era. Then, when it was out of vogue and then it kind of got into vogue, people started collecting it back in maybe the 60s or 70s or so, maybe even 80s. But then tastes change and times change. Notice how you say, you've got 3 pieces. It's all pink. Good to know. You have 3 pieces. You want to keep one. What about those other 2 pieces? I would take a look online. I would start with Google or use the search engine of choice. So Google or eBay, and see what people are paying for it, not what people are asking for it. Uranium glass. Thank you. Iridium, close, uranium. Look at us. I love it. Nana Joe is collecting jadeite. I have a friend who used to collect that. Now he's selling it. Notice the things that become popular and then people get tired of them and they sell them. It's always kind of in flow. So I would go onto Google and I would Google pink depression glass and see what comes up. Keep the piece you want, and if the stuff is worth some money, you might want to consider selling it. Maybe online, maybe not, but take into consideration all those steps. The other thing too is maybe you want to gift it to somebody. Instead, maybe you want to donate it somewhere. Notice these things. Just trust yourself and have some fun with it. You might learn something. Now, for example, there was a pattern of depression glass that I literally started collecting in the 80s. It was called Manhattan glass. It had concentric rings around it, and I still have a number of pieces of it in my collection. But now I'm kind of over it. I'm using some different things. You're welcome. And this is one of those things that you realize is that different things can be important to different people. I bet you all have something in your collections that you have that means a lot to you, that it could be worth something monetarily, but it could also mean something to you emotionally. You could have a little cracked, chipped glass, but a little cup, but it reminds you of when your grandmother used to make you a hard-boiled egg or a soft-boiled egg and put it in a little teacup. I had one of those for a while that reminded me of going over my grandmother's house and did that. But figure out what you want to keep in your home now, and also maybe get better at determining what you don't want anymore. Okay? Oh, there you go. So, Rach, how neat. Pink Manhattan. It's one of the few things for sure I will keep. Now, I haven't seen the pink. So in my pink era back in the 80s and early 90s, that post 86 Fiesta ware. I had that for a while. I registered for it for my first wedding. The dishes lasted longer than the wedding, the marriage, but that's fine because I am happily married now. And we also I just registered for another color of Fiesta ware. But notice the things that may do it for you for a time, and then you may be done with it. I used to be big into those kind of Art Deco pink and turquoise colors. I still like the turquoise. Now I flipped it. Instead of pink, I like orange, much like Howard Johnson's. So pay attention to what lights you up. And the things you like and the things you decide to keep may change over time. I have started to whittle down my clear depression glass, clear Manhattan glass collection, because I found other things that I can use for that. So for example, I used to use some bread and butter plates of my Manhattan glass for desserts when I would have a small group of people over. Now I recently inherited the dessert plates from my mother's china that was actually my grandmother's china. So when I have people over for dessert, which isn't often, but when I do, I have a slightly better sized plate for that. Google Lens, what a great idea, Patty. Yeah. So even if you're not a collector, totally okay. You save things that mean something to you. You have things in your home that light you up, or if it's clutter, it maybe weighs you down. So pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel. Do you see that? Do you see something and lean in and go, ooh, I really like that? Or you're like, ugh, I totally don't like that. Notice how your body might move, how your expression might change, how you breathe differently. Ooh, that looks fun. Or, ugh, I don't want that. Pay attention to how your stuff makes you feel in your body. And that feeling helps you make a decision whether you want to keep it or not. Now, the wonderful thing about decluttering is it's all up to you. I was talking to a client today and I brought up that old George Carlin about, my stuff is good stuff, your stuff is crap. It's so personal to people, so get to know yourself. Get to know the things that make you feel good and keep them if you want. Or maybe a certain number of them. Find a level of items in your home that makes you feel good, but that also allows you to live easily and effortlessly in your house. What do I mean by that? It's easy to find stuff. It's easy to use it. It's easy to put away when you're done. Okay? Now, this is how I coach. I do one-on-one coaching with people. My paid coaching, that's my paid coaching, is one-on-one, you and me on Zoom. Any day, the day of the week and the time and all that. But I also do these TikTok lives. And the reason I do these TikTok lives is because this gives you a taste of if somebody's paying attention to you and what you're struggling with, how it feels to get some help with what you're struggling with, and how much better it can feel to even just have somebody who is there with you and is along for the journey. I like to think of things as like a road trip. That's why I have this thing behind me that looks like a little dotted line. I like to think of a road trip. I'm not the one driving your car, though. You're the one driving the car. I'm in the passenger seat helping you. So do you have something clutter-wise you're struggling with? Would you feel better if you got some help? Sure, here I am. Why not? Put what you're struggling with clutter-wise in the comments, and I can read your comments, and I can help you with it. Now, it's not exactly like paid, one-on-one coaching, but it gives you a taste of when somebody pays attention to you, when somebody listens to you and helps you with what you are struggling with. Okay. Yeah, Carla Holiday, I love it that you say, I love that we all kind of come in and encourage each other, share ideas with each other. Yes. I don't know what the magic is that happens every time I do a TikTok live. It's not me. I just happen to be kind of the conduit, but I'm going to tell you, I was complimented once by one of my paying clients who said, you never have trolls. You never have people in your TikTok lives coming in and giving you a hard time. There's such a wonderful community of people that show up. And I agree, Carla, I feel blessed and lucky that we all are here kind of helping each other along on this journey that we're all going through. Each one of us is at a different stage with our clutter. We're all struggling with slightly different things, but we can all help each other too. Collaboration, that's what I love. Okay, so Chefronish, pardon me, it's been a long day. Bills and mail. Boy, do I have experience with this. Some of you may have seen that I did kind of an irate video this weekend from my mother's house when I saw how much effing mail she got that was such crap that her bills were getting kind of lost in the shuffle. So yes, no, not a smidge of shame here. No, shame is just a useless drain of your energy. Okay? So let me help you with this, with the bills and the mail. I was working on this today. Notice what your current habits are that get you cluttered with your mail. Do you kind of bring it in and put it anywhere? Do you bring it in and you open it? Do you not bring it in? And notice I'm talking about mail from your mailbox. Notice what you do with it that gets you the way you want. And then you can see where those points are that you can just make some easy tweaks. Now, what I love is to get my mail in, and as soon as I get it in, pretty much sort through and just immediately get rid of the junk mail. Immediately into the recycle bin with a flourish and a tearing up and a throwing away. Now, sometimes they try to be sneaky and they try to make you think it's an important thing, and you open it up, and as soon as I find out that is a commercial solicitation of mail, they get on my S list, as I like to say. I will not work with that company. Andersen Windows, I will never work for you, because you try to pretend like, oh, look, Joe was in the neighborhood and he wrote me a thing. How freaking insincere is that? Get rid of your junk mail. And then also, too, if you have, and let me see if I've got an example, because I'm helping my mother with this kind of remotely. Let me see if I can find something wicked easy. Okay, if you get catalogs, you can call up, go into the catalog and find the 800 number when I want to sell you something. Call them up and say, take me off your list. There's going to be a catalog code. There's going to be some codes here, even just your name and address, and you can tell them to take you off their list. It may not work for a while. You may have to do it a couple of times, but the more you do something to change it, it'll happen. Okay? What I want to offer is mail. Open it up and see what it is. Do not be afraid to open your mail. Being afraid of the unknown is going to give you anxiety. Knowing what you're afraid of, it's kind of like how we often postpone even doing our taxes because we're afraid we might owe money. So we don't even do the taxes. How about this? If you did the taxes sooner, you would know if you owed money or you got a refund. And then if you were getting a refund, you could send it in right away and get the money back. You would also know how much you owed, so you could make a plan and get it paid. And you don't even have to send it off until, whatever, the 14th of April or something. Okay? So there are things you can do. Open your mail. Get in the habit of putting it somewhere specific all the time. And then when you have mail, if it needs to take action, the sooner you take the action for it, the less time you have to spend worrying about remembering what to do with it. Okay? So just at the very beginning, everybody, so much of clutter and being cluttered is habits. Habits can be formed, habits can be changed. Notice your habits and then tweak them a little bit at a time so it, starts to divert things. All right? Now, Nina Gibbs, 61, it says, I'm at the beginning of becoming a hoarder. Well, that's good that you notice that. And you have an option. You have an option to continue what you're doing, and yes, you will get to Hoarderville. Or you can take this time right now at this kind of fork in the road or this juncture and say, the stuff that I'm doing right now is causing me to become more hoarder-like than I want. Okay? So what are some things you can do differently to stop the hoarding and then to even undo some of it? The stopping of it is going to be the habit stuff. It's going to be, I have this habit of buying too much. I have this habit of not letting things go. I have this habit of letting things accumulate. That's a habit. The other one is being more easy and like getting used to feeling safe in your nervous system to let things go and feeling okay with it. Now, depending upon why you think you're becoming a hoarder, that may be something that, my simple life coaching applying ways of doing it can help you. Or if it is something that is kind of more serious and trauma-based, and you might benefit from mental health help. I say this with complete sincerity and encouragement because getting the help you need, getting the right help for your problem is going to get you back on the road again. You wouldn't call a friend to replace the engine in your car, or maybe you would because you have a friend like that. But what you would do is you would find somebody whose expertise is what you're struggling with. If all you need is a friend to come and give you 5 gallons of gas because you ran out on the side of the road, a friend can do that. You may not need to call the expensive guy, But if your engine has seized up because you ran out of gas and you continue to drive it and now you don't have an engine anymore, you may need to call an engine repair or replacement person. Getting the right help is the way that you get back on the road the quickest. Okay? All right, Hilda is an old a PK teacher. All right, old papers and school stuff. I get a lot of teachers as clients, and I love this because you all have changing curriculums all the years, and yet you have some that you think, well, maybe I'll use this someday. Get curious about the last time you used it, and get curious about yourself why you're saving the old papers. Okay? Have a conversation with yourself. Give yourself the space to respond to your questions. And don't question yourself accusingly, but do it with love and kindness and compassion and curiosity. Why did I save this? Why did you save this? That's going to get you one response versus, hey, why'd you save this? I don't know. Why'd you save this? No guilt, no shame, no judgment, not a single luxury. 2 different vibes, 2 different energies. One is judgy and shaming. The other one is curious and loving. Because I just want to help you get to where you want to go to. Treat yourself with kindness. Get curious and listen for your answers. And then say, does that make sense? When's the last time I used an older curriculum? I'm not using it now, but I'm teaching a different grade. Maybe somebody else could use it. Maybe I could offer this to the 2nd grade teacher now. Notice that, okay? And then do something different, okay? All right, there we go. 3rd class mail right away. I love it. I open the mail over a wastebasket, says Catherine. Rock on, Oh, there we go. New attitude. You got a new attitude. That's exactly what I would tell my clients when I did taxes. It took me, I am telling you, it took me into my 50s to realize that just because you did your taxes early didn't mean you needed to pay it early. If anything, it just makes you better prepared if you owe money. And then you can make a plan and you know what you owe. You're not like, oh, I don't even know how much I owe. Not knowing is going to exhaust you. Is there something you don't know how to do and you're trying to figure it out on your own and you just don't know it? That's going to sap your energy. Okay? All right. So Noam's saying, I retired from a 40-year job last year. Oh, so you're in a transition from 40 years at one job and now you're doing something else? Still can't throw away my old pay stubs, 40 years worth? Shaking my head. How about instead of shaking your head, you just tip your head and you say, I wonder why I save these. Listen to the story in your head that makes you feel like you can't let go of them. What are you afraid of? Dun, dun, dun. I want to offer to all of you the stories that have fear in them are the things that keep you stuck. The stories that have love in them are the ones that get you moving in the right direction. So what are you afraid of? What are you afraid that is going to happen if you throw away your old pay stubs? Now, here's the great thing. 40 years worth. So that's what? 1984? I did the math because that's the year I graduated high school. I know that one. I can't believe it was 40 years ago because I feel so freaking young. But how about this? Instead of throwing them all away at once, how about doing just the ones from the 80s, from 84 to 94? Have you looked at those pay stubs? Have you needed to look at those pay stubs? Could you even just chunk down all of them and start to recycle the ones just from the first 10 years? How does that feel after you did it? Afraid you're going to get in trouble? What's your nervous system like? Maybe then you wait a while and you do the next 5 years and then the next 5 years. And then maybe you're thinking, because there is that tax thing about, saving your stuff for 7 years in case they decide to audit you. So maybe you save the ones from only the last 10 years. You will have decreased your amount of pay stubs by 75%. That's nothing to sneeze at. God bless you. So notice those things that you're doing, okay? Notice it. Ooh, 12 new messages. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, Lexi Starpath, I'm going to call you on this one. every single time without fail, if you throw something away, you end up needing it. It happens often. Often is different than all of the freaking time. Every single time is very dramatic. And what I want to offer, I'm offering a lot, and I'm suggesting, and I'm using my same phrases all over again because I'm kind of tired. So my brain is going to my habits. What I want to suggest to you is to, when you are everybody, when you hear that kind of dramatic voice coming out of your head and your mouth, this never happens. I always need to find those things. Lovingly bust yourself and say, is that really true? Every single thing I have ever thrown away, I have needed. Maybe if that is truly the case, you want to get better at deciding what you throw away. Okay? Okay. So if you truly notice how you say, if it's every single time, you never get rid of anything. Notice the declarativeness of this. It happens all the time, so I never do this. That's a choice. Yeah. You can choose to make that. I'm not going to suggest to you anything different. But that continual not getting rid of anything, it's going to lead to a lot of stuff in your house. So just notice that. If you want to have a lot of stuff in your house because you're never giving anything away, then that's the way to go. It's up to you. Completely up to you. But let me ask you, it doesn't have to be Lexi Star Path, it can be everybody, is when you have, it has happened to me, I remember doing a video about it. It has happened to me in the past. It's happened currently as a decluttering coach, and it probably will happen in the future. That I give a best guess to, is this something I want right now? And do I see myself needing it in the future? And my answer is no. So I let it go. Then perhaps something comes up that changes my mind. I say, oh crap, I kind of wish I didn't donate that. Okay, well I did. Is there something else I can use instead? Can I borrow something else from somebody? There's ways to get around it. The things that clutter up your life are not one-of-a-kind unique items. They are probably mass-produced and easily accessible. Okay? Aw, Lori Hannah, double shot for you too today, my dear. And Lori is saying, my self-talk about my stuff is so much kinder since working with Beth. Well, thank you. And you know what? Treat yourself kindly. Treat your stuff kindly. It's here because the only reason your stuff is in your home is because you wanted it to be. Okay? You have invited it. You wanted to keep it in here. So treat it with kindness and say, hey you, what are you doing here? Oh, look, I'm helping you. Like I got this little thing right here. It's got a little top. And I open this up and it's a little spoon. And I decided to use this to stir my tea bag up. And then when I'm done, then the little tea smidgies don't get onto something and it goes in the bottom. Why are you here? Oh, it's to make my life easy. Thank you. Talk to your stuff. Play with it. Have fun. You know? All right. Nina Gibbs, I packed to sell my home. It didn't sell and we moved back in. It's been a mess since then. Ooh. Okay. That's a situation. That's an interesting situation. Notice the stuff. If you even just moved into a house and you only opened up the boxes that you truly needed to live on an everyday basis, you would be surprised at how many boxes remained shut. Okay? You would notice that and do something about it. Okay? I love it. The GMA says all my bills are automatically paid. Love it. Anything that comes in the mail is trash and never comes in the house. I am working on helping my mother with that. Now, I have some mail that still comes in. I was going over a paper credit card statement earlier today, and I noticed something that was off. I also can look that stuff up online. Everybody's process is going to be a little bit different, but find one that works for you. Okay? I love this. I see a lot of kind of the we can do it, the Rosie the Riveters. I love it. Okay. All right. 2 rooms full of boxes for 7 years. Okay. Closing are stacked up 3 feet high. Nina, sounds like you have quite a story to tell. Ask yourself if you want to live like that anymore. And if the answer is no, you can do different things. Okay? You can do different things. Catherine's offering, can you take it to the donation center? Oh, thank you, Catherine says. She has that gift, doesn't she? Here, it's a gift. But I'm sharing my gift with you. It feels so much better to go through the world being kind when you can. Now, trust me. You caught me when I was vaguely irate about people sending too much mail to my mother. I can be mean and pissed off like nobody's business. You treat somebody wrong and I will come fists and feet flying. I will be a mama bear like you wouldn't believe. But I only do that if I have to. And luckily, I don't have to do that a lot. Okay? Okay. Trisha is saying, I definitely need help. Okay. My son gets rid of things, but I dig it out later because I think he'll want it later. Okay. Now, Trisha, notice that dynamic. He has said to himself and to you, I don't want this anymore. He has made a decision about his stuff. You're second guessing his decision. You think he'll want it later, but he just said he doesn't want it anymore. Allow people to make their own decisions and allow them to trust their own decision-making process. When you second guess somebody, maybe you second guess yourself as well, okay? But allow people to learn to make decisions for themselves. It's the only way we ever learn what's important to us and what isn't, is doing it ourselves and learning how it feels in our nervous system. Does it feel good for me to release this out into the wild? Yes. If I feel weird about it, do I want to hang on to it? Maybe. Okay? So, all right. So notice those things and trust yourself. That's a lot of it too, is sometimes we second guess ourselves. We are afraid to declare one thing or the other, either keeping it or getting rid of it. So you spend a lot of time in limbo, and limbo is exhausting. Getting comfortable with, nervous system-wise and life-wise, of making decisions, and making decisions that you are inferring that are going to lead you to the life you want. That's a lot of what decluttering is having confidence in yourself and what you want, and making decisions based on that. Is what do I want to happen? What do I want in my house? What do I not want in my house? Getting better at knowing yourself. The more you get to know yourself, and no, I'm not going to break into a show tune of getting to know you because I'm tired and it wouldn't sound good even if I wasn't tired. But get to know yourself and what you like and what you don't like. What you used to like that just doesn't do it for you anymore. What the things you're starting to like now. I used to never think I liked oysters. I was afraid to try them. I tried them now, and now I love them. It's fun. You will discover new things about yourself because we're always evolving, okay? But get used to practice trusting yourself, okay? Nina Gibbs, you have a dress from when you were 12. I just looked at it. Why can't I just get rid of it? I can't answer that for you, but you can. When if I asked you that and you were quiet with yourself, some thoughts in your head would come up. And they would be the thoughts that are making you feel like you can't let go of it. Now, if you choose to just think that those are the only thoughts available, you're going to keep a lot of stuff. I show up in the world to either inform you for the first time or remind you that there is another side to this story. On the flip side of the stories that are keeping you holding on to things is the opposite story that's going to allow you to easily release stuff. Okay? There is another side to the story, and it's a story you're going to have to create for yourself. The automatic fear-based thoughts come automatic. It's the way our brains are wired. The ones that come from safety and love and confidence, sometimes you need to construct those. You need to formulate them. What's the opposite of that? I'm afraid if I let it go, something's going to happen. What am I afraid of? Could I be afraid of what's going to go right? You know? Okay. What do you do with the stuff you get rid of? Donate, toss, garbage, etc. Yes, all of them. Depends on what it is. Do the thing that feels easiest and right to you. Stuff that has no value to anybody else, real trash, goes in the trash. Recycles, if there's recycling, they have one of those little triangles on the bottom that match the stuff that might burrow. I live in a borough. I don't live in a donkey or a burrow. I live in a town. The town takes, I recycle as much as possible. I donate as much as possible. I work hard to not throw away anything that could have value to somebody else. So what that means is I donate a lot to various places around town. I will set up a table outside and put free stuff, take it there. I want to keep it out of landfills and into people's homes or that want them, but I also don't want to spend the rest of my life being matchmaker to the perfect stuff. That's how I roll. And there are so many places between you deciding you don't want it and the garbage can. So do your part that you feel right on is do what feels right to you. Okay. What do we have here? Okay. Shauna Rianne says, I had to move to a new house and I'm struggling with unpacking because we only had 90 days to pack. Here's something I think is a really great idea, okay, is to see, again, I think I said this earlier, is to see how much stuff you can live without on a daily basis. Don't expect it. How about this? Say I'm not gonna unpack a box unless I need the stuff in it. That will give you an idea of how much stuff that you technically don't necessarily need. Now, it's not an exact science, but you'll notice the stuff that you can live without and still survive and maybe thrive. Okay? Okay, yeah. It's a lot of us. You're saying it's a lifetime of collecting, says Nina Gibbs 61. Yes. Many of us who have collected. I started collecting when I was 9, 10, 11 because I came from a collecting family. We used to go drive out to Brimfield. We'd go to thrift stores. We would go to garage sales. We would go to auctions. We would trash pick. All of these things I did for maybe the first 45 years of my life, 50 years of my life, 45, whatever. Recently, though, I don't get the joy I did with collecting that I once did because I'm happy with what I have. Now, I may add something here or there to my collections, but it's not like this thing that's taking up a lot of my time. And what I notice is that some of the stuff that I used to really like, I just don't do it anymore. So I say to myself, could I live without this? Is it okay? How do I feel if I start to take this away? And if I don't feel anything, I whittle down my collection. Okay? What else do we have here? All right. Notice a lot of people are on morning decisions. Allow yourself to feel the morning, and that's morning like morning dove, not AM. Okay? I left childhood dresses behind when I last moved. Lately, I've mourned that decision. Why? Because those represented you. Maybe you thought you were leaving your childhood behind. Get in touch with the feelings behind what you're doing, and that'll give you a better insight. Okay? Yeah, Catherine is saying collecting was fun when I was young. Now I want the minimal look. Yeah, me too. But here's the funny thing. My minimal might look to somebody else as maximal, but it feels just right to me. Okay. All right. Notice spastic dingo. When I divorced, I downsized significantly. Of course, you got rid of a whatever you call it, a partner, a mate. But I feel panicky whenever I try to get rid of stuff. Notice that feeling of panic. When you feel that panic, you're not going to be getting rid of stuff, right? But if you want to get rid of stuff, you're going to need to take into account how getting rid of things makes you feel and allow your nervous system to feel safe and better. And when you feel better, you might more easily able to release things. Okay? Now, Queen Victoria says if you have a dress when you were 5, it's not going anywhere. You get to decide what you keep, how much of it, the quality, the quantity, all of it is up to you. I don't judge. It's up to you. I just ask the question for you. I just say, does this make your life easier? Does it bring you joy or not? And you get to answer that question, right? GGX 2000, I'm sorry, I saw this earlier. Any suggestions to store cardigans I use but no room in drawers or closet? Get curious about why there are no room in your drawers or your closet. So double check to see if there's anything that's getting in the way of the cardigans you want to keep. I personally, my cardigans, this closet right here, on the second shelf, I have a kind of a plastic tote, got it from Target. It's one of those ones that's like 6 inches tall, clear on the outside, white top. Those are the only ones I use. And I know that when you hang a sweater, it gets all stretched out. So I have my cardigans folded in those. And when I want to use one, I pull it out, grab it, put it away. That's what I do. But I would say get curious about why you don't have space for it. Now, the reason my cardigans are up on that shelf in totes is because I don't wear them as often as I used to. When I was working in a corporate job and I couldn't get away with wearing a hoodie all the time, I was a cardigan queen, let me tell you, because I'm always cold and I think cardigans are sassy. Now I'm not in that generation, I'm not in that era of my life anymore. Frankly, I'm not in the size I was too. I've gone through menopause, I've gained weight. So my cardigans that I used to use, I bet they would be all tight on my arms. I don't like the feeling of that. So I am able to now, in this chapter of my life, I wear hoodies. So notice that you will change as the years go by. And let your habits and what you own reflect who you are now. And if they don't, get curious why you're hanging on to them. Okay, Bertha, notice the guilt. My mother spent a lot on things for me when I was young. Feels ungrateful to part with it now. Okay, well, you can feel guilt and you can allow that feeling of guilt to keep you holding on to too many things. Or you can practice changing your mind about what it feels like to part with things, about the good way about parting things. You don't want to feel ungrateful. You're not ungrateful. Somebody gave you something and you're saying thank you, but it just doesn't do for me. So maybe you can give it to somebody who does. But notice the guilt is a feeling that's caused by a story, and your feelings and your head and your heart are going to either make your hands move to donate things or release things or not. All right? Yep, all sorts of things like that. Yeah, I had a bunch of sweaters too, and I'm culling them. I still have a few because I wear them over like sundresses in the summer, but not to the extent that I used to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thinking their ideas of our lives in eras. Oh my goodness. I think of our lives as chapters in books, and you can sense when one is when one is ending. Maybe when you leave a job, maybe when you turn a certain decade, maybe when a life instance happens, but another chapter starts. And what are you going to bring from that previous chapter? You know, you have a different era. That was the era of my life when I was really into punk rock. That was the era of my life where I was wearing a lot of vintage clothing. That was the era of my life when I tried to fit in the corporate world. That was the era of my life when I thought I was going to wear red lipstick all the time. That was the era of life when I thought I'm going to really work out a lot. That was the era of my life when I ... Who am I now? What's my era right now? Does the stuff that I surround myself with accurately reflect who I am and who I want to be? That doesn't mean you need to get rid of all the previous eras. I like to pull through. I have always said that this is just how I think I'm wired, and I believe this. This is how I act, is there's good and bad, not to be all ebony and ivory, but every era of your life, every era of history has good and bad. The way we evolve is we pull the good stuff forward with us and we let the bad stuff stay in the past. Pull the good stuff forward. Collect the stuff that you've had. Some of these things here on these shelves I've had for 40 years. Others of them are within the past 5, 10, 1 year. Bring forward the things that mean a lot to you. You might have brought something forward for 40 years and then said, you know what? It's time for me to let this go and let somebody else enjoy it. Allow yourself to evolve. Allow some flow as opposed to being stagnant. And that will help allow things to easily empty out, and then you can decide whether you want to fill up that space with more stuff, or maybe it feels easier and lighter and simpler to not replace everything in your home. A home where you can breathe. A home where you can easily find things. A home where you can just, as somebody said up thread, I want to be ready for company coming, but even if company doesn't come, you have rooms that you can walk through and just enjoy looking at it. That you can sit on a chair easily because you don't have clothes piled up on it. You can use a table to put stuff on because it's not stacked up with piles of mail or medicines or whatever you pile. That you can use your items for what they're intended and make it simple and easy. I take the dishes out, I can easily put them away. I can easily find a steak knife and I use it and then I wash it and then I put it away so it's there again. Notice these things. I show up to help you make your life easier. Now, I feel like it's been a while since I've been talking, so I'm going to take a sip, but I'm going to let you know a couple of things. One of the things is that I'm only on this TikTok live now. It's my second one for the day because I decided to do one earlier when it was snowing out. I will be here for another 11 minutes. The other thing I want to let you know about is if we haven't met and you're just signing on, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered because I love to travel. And I think of life, you should think of life as a road trip, not a commute. A road trip that you're taking on your own pace, that feels good, that you get out and you stretch and enjoy, you rest. That's how decluttering is too. I want you to enjoy the process. I want you to pick a pace that feels right to you. I want you to feel good because when you feel good, you do good. So I teach you how to feel good while you're decluttering. And the wonderful thing is with coaching is that it's not just in a silo of it only works with decluttering and nothing else. It's life coaching, so you can use the processes you learn in decluttering in other areas of your house. Okay? Yeah, so Nina, you know what it's like to be organized. It does make life easier. There we go. Carla's asking, could you talk about how you got started on this area of your life? Yeah, sure. So I grew up in a cluttered home, but I always know it felt better to have things organized and in kind of, when you're a kid, you don't have control of a lot of stuff, but you can make your room look neater. Now, I didn't always do that. I threw my clothes. I was a slob for like the first 25, 35, how many years of my life? It really only took until we moved. I've been in this house 20 years with my husband. Even when we first moved in, we would just let our clothes pile up on the floor. We'd let stuff pile up. What got me to do this was I realized how much better it felt when I had fewer things. And also, kind of during COVID, I realized that I, was stuck in the house and I finally had the time to tackle some stuff. And I realized I enjoyed it. It was something I'm good at. I like to help people with it. So I decided to give it a shot and say, maybe I can coach people. This is something I enjoy that other people struggle with. So how can I make your life easier? And I just kind of started. I asked family and friends if they needed help, if they wanted help. I didn't charge anything for the longest time because I was still figuring out stuff. And then when I thought I would, ask people to pay me to coach, they said yes. And it's kind of been like that. I really enjoy what I do. When I see somebody struggling with something and I know I can help, it's my way to say, how can I help? If I can help you. Now, I can't help with a lot of things, like changing tires or, quadratic equations or whatever. But if you're struggling with clutter, boy, oh howdy, can I help you with that? And that's why I offer it. That's why I do these TikTok lives. That's why I have the Destination Decluttered mailing list. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. Next week, the people on the mailing list, we all have a free Zoom call that we're doing. I also have a couple of fun things that came in the mail that I want to show, a couple of books that I created that I want to show, but the people on the mailing list get to do that. And so if you want to sign up on the mailing list, there's that. Can you tell I'm running out of steam? It's been a long day. I coached a client. I have a client that I meet at 6 a.m. And my energy organically is in the morning. So the 6 a.m. isn't a problem, but 13 hours later, after talking all day and listening real hard and being there and being, kind of being open and heart forward, it can be tiring. But I've got 8 minutes left. I am here for you. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Catherine and Carla. I'm happy to share because I don't, it's silly for me to hide anything. There's nothing really to hide. The cool thing was, to get a little bit more backstory, just slightly, is that I kind of fell into a job. One of my first jobs that allowed me to learn some principles that help with decluttering was working retail at Pier 1 Imports. I liked making things look from messy to clean. I was a visual merchandiser. So you learn certain principles that you can use to make your home look better. Now, I will say my home would often look really good. People have always complimented me on the way I kind of can pull a room together like a rug. But I still had stuff hiding in the closets that I didn't know what to do with. I was overwhelmed. Even this room that I'm in now, there's pictures of it with stuff stacked all over the place. So I had to learn how to deal with my own stored and sentimental clutter. And I had to learn to make decisions about, do I want this or not? Does this reflect the life that I currently have and want now? Or is this kind of a souvenir of who I used to be? I have a lot of that now because I made a great transition during COVID. Prior to COVID, I had started a little startup called Retro Roadmap, where I would go to vintage and retro places and I would write about them on the internet. I wrote books, I did videos, I was interviewed in magazines and TV. I had a lot of that stuff going on. That was fun for so long. And then it changed and it wasn't as fun. And instead of feeling like I wanted to do it, I started feeling like I had to do it. And I said, this is not good. So what I did was I said, okay, this isn't bringing me joy. What else can I do and also, make some money because I had quit my job because I was so unhappy in the corporate world because I had never wanted to be in the corporate world. And I said to myself, people pay money for solutions to their problems. So what problem can I help someone solve that I don't mind solving with them because I'm good at it and I enjoy it? And decluttering came to mind. It's always been the thing for years, informally, formally, my family, my friends. I've always been the one to help people kind of create order out of chaos. So I thought, well, if I can do this for other people and myself, maybe I can help total strangers. And now with, all sorts of electronic gizmos like our phones and Zoom, I can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Yikes, 6 a.m. Abbott Elementary. But here's the deal too, is I want to help as many people as I can with my paid coaching. So if the only time they can show up is 6 a.m. and I can make it work, I love saying yes to things that I feel like I can do. That's the other reason on the flip side. I know my strong point is in the morning. Anywhere probably between 6 and 2, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., I'm pretty strong. Then I get in a lull. I may get a resurgence. This is why I don't coach in the evenings, is because the way my life is set up and the way my organic energy is I don't bring my best self if I was to be coaching at this time of night. Now, I say this because I would love for you to start to pay attention to where your energy is the strongest. And when you go to declutter at the times when your tank is full. Okay? Notice that. Oh, yeah. Is this a reflection of who I used to be or who I am? Used to be or am or who I want to be. Okay? Yes, my method is totally custom rather than a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid just goes on the surface and it can help. Band-Aids are fine for what they do. But the better thing is to kind of take the Band-Aid off and see what's causing the problem and then do something so the problem heals, and then maybe the Band-Aid just makes it so you don't bump your hand. There we go. I used to work in retail. Now I work in a school. Yeah, I used to work retail. I realized in hindsight how much I enjoyed working retail because of the flexibility, the ability to help people solve problems all the time. Somebody would come in the store. It's like, is there something I can help you with? Are you looking for something in particular? I could help people because I knew where to, what we had. So that organically helps me help people solve problems, All right. Pepperhead says, no cupboard or cupboards, no cupboards in my farm kitchen. And even after decluttering, everything gets dusty. Help. Okay. What I would recommend is finding a solution that obviously is not, you could install cupboards, I guess. Find a way that you can store your items, but doesn't leave them out into the exposed air where they will get dusty. So perhaps instead of having a cupboard, maybe it is a freestanding cupboard that you bring in. Maybe it is I remember my grandmother, my grandmother, actually funny, both of my grandmothers, well, one of them lived in a farmhouse. That one had cupboards. But my grandmother, who lived closer to us, she had such an old kitchen. It had absolutely no cupboards whatsoever. So she had a pantry where things were out on the shelves, but the dishes and stuff were in, I'm trying to think. It was like a little, it was like one of those 50s metal cupboards, for lack of a better term, like storage thing, with the 2 doors. It was metal, and it would have shelves in it. So maybe bring in something like that. But notice one of the things that's bugging you is the dust. And think about a way you can get your stuff out of being from dusty. Okay? Like a hutch. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate you guys helping me out when I'm struggling with my words. Okay? So I'm going to share with you. I got 2 minutes left. I am fading fast. My eyes are tired. I'm getting kind of hoarse in the mouth. But let me ask you this. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you've heard, and if you haven't followed my TikTok page, it would be nice if you followed it. The more my numbers grow, and I don't do this to be boastful, but it amplifies my message to other people who may not know that there is help out there for decluttering. When you follow my page, you will be notified when I do a TikTok live. The other way you can find that out is a couple things. When you look on the front page of my TikTok page, that pinned on the top is the schedule for the next 2 weeks of scheduled TikTok lives. Now, the funny thing is yesterday I thought I had one. I had it written down that I was going to do one, so I did it. It wasn't on the schedule anywhere, so I've done a couple. Sometimes I do pop-ups. I did a pop-up this morning at 9:30. Other times I just honor the scheduled ones that I do, but I show up for the scheduled ones. Liking my page will alert you if I do a pop-up. Also, if you want to know before anybody else about when I do these things, because I've got the schedule right in front of me, is joining with the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. destinationdecluttered.com/join. Wonderful group of people. Next Wednesday night, we have our monthly free group Zoom that's only for people on the mailing list. And that is a fun kind of community of folks. Some folks show up on the regular and they're getting to know each other. It's a really kind of neat organic thing that's happening. Okay? And I just want to kind of end this with, too, honestly, my one-on-one coaching. I think it's the best thing ever. It's kind of fun. I've had some previous clients and current clients come in and talk about how good it is. So I don't ask them to do that. They do it on their own accord. But I really enjoy it. How I do it, when we do it, what the results we're getting. And if that's something you're interested in, you can learn more about that on my website, Destination Decluttered. You can see the Work With Me page. If you want to take the next step, that's signing up for consultation. Consultation is just a convo between you and me to find out what you're struggling with. Okay? Power on D says, can't get rid of mom's costume jewelry. Thinking of putting it in a shadow box to display. Thoughts? Yeah, go for it. Go for it. You have that idea. If it sounds fun, do it. Okay? I'm going to sign off now, you guys. I'm going to go. Live will end in 1 minute. Really weird. I am going to. This is really interesting. I've never seen this before. So I'm going to sign off now. Very weird. Okay. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you can hear me. And I'm getting some sort of. Come on. Sorry, this has never happened to me before. I'm going to sign off now. I'll talk to you guys later, okay? TikTok, you're being so weird. All right. Thanks a lot for everybody showing up. It's trying to make me verify things. Detected inactivity during your current live. Complete the verification. So weird. Refresh. All right, I'm signing off, you guys. All right, bye.